Welcome to Cut the Slack with your hosts Billy Candelaria and Timothy J. Coy. Sponsored by InlandEmpireHealth.com and PremierLocalMedia.com.
3, 2, 1.
So that's one thing that really is a big deal to me. I don't know why, but I figure this. I figure if they're a real business or if they really are a good salesperson, then they'll take my no, they'll call me in a week or a month or whatever, and I'll hear from them again, and then I'll be, even if I want it, even if I feel like it's a good thing for me, and I know that's, but we all have a sales side and we all have a consumer side too.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk onto a car lot, I'm sure you're feeling pretty good about yourself if you're going to buy a car.
Right. Well, I'll be buying one for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because you do that.
Toyota Carlsbad.
I love it.
But if you were to walk, let's say you wanted a Dodge, if you walked onto the sales floor there, you're going to you probably wouldn't tell them exactly what you do right away.
Right.
You're going to kind of feel them out, and you're going to put them through their paces and make them sell you.
It's possible. I mean, I guess it depends on the industry. If maybe I might tell them right away, but it's kind of like when I'm looking for a house.
So, okay.
Okay, so I like being pushed. You know, again, I'm one that likes being pushed a little bit. And I think that's where it comes to two different personalities of some people need to be pushed to buy something, some people don't.
Well, that's pretty big of you to admit that, because a lot of people won't admit. You know, like I just admitted I need to be. So if I come to buy a car from you, you got to call me.
Oh, I'll call you. I saw your Dodge Grand Caravan. I'm going to be DMing you a little bit later for about new Sienna.
It's all up in my DMs, man.
Persistently, professionally persistent.
Okay.
But no, I mean, it just depends. You know, I think it really depends on the personality, and I guess that's kind of what makes a good salesperson as well. Is they're able to adapt and see that. Is they're able to see. You know, you have the engineer type that is strictly an analyst. How am I going to save on this solar system? How am I going to save on this, fuel economy on the car? How's this going to benefit me, financially or however so. And so, I guess you just have to really gauge the person. And there's another personality that's just there. You jive with them right away. You say, okay, this is what's going to be great. This is why you're going to love, X, Y, and Z. And they go, yeah, this is totally cool. And so. And some people, again, they like that, and so from there you can kind of maybe push them towards how you think what they want. And so, like me, like I said, when I go somewhere, I need to be pushed. Just kind of like you like the follow-up.
Right.
It's just maybe a little bit lighter of a push. I like being pushed too.
Yeah.
I think, because the same type of follow-up could be perceived as desperate as well, if it's not approached correctly. Right, so there's also a lot of value in giving a mean presentation and just ghosting. Hey,
yeah,
I'm going to spend 2-3 hours with you. I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to answer every question you have. Okay, and I'm your guy. I want you to know that I've done this thousands of times with thousands of happy customers. Here's the price. Let me know when you're ready.
True.
And then off stage.
Yeah.
Forever.
So there's the argument there. So
see, again, yeah, that's two different things.
And here this is fun. So that's kind of how I am on the sales side.
Uh-huh.
So
but you want the opposite treatment.
Yeah, I like to be followed up with, but I have failed to do a lot of follow up, and a lot of times I'm like, hey, I shared, and I believe I have what you want, but I'm not going to chase people. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, but the most successful people would definitely say that there is a secret to follow up, somewhat.
Yeah, and I think it's grasping that ether while they have it. There's an ether that people have when they research the product, whether it's solar or home remodel or it's a car or it's a cell phone. They have this ether that they're excited, they're getting giddy. They're saying I'm going to spend $500-600 per month on this, or I'm going to spend I'm going to drop $40,000 to remodel my kitchen. And so they get this energy and this ether, and then sometimes if you don't capture it right away, again, this is I guess maybe totally different sales. If you don't capture it right away or stay on top of it for the next 2-3 days or however quick, then you start going
Fizzles
well,
out.
it
So
fizzles
that's a
out. Maybe
great
I don't
point.
really need that. Maybe, you know what? There's $40,000 I could spend elsewhere. And again, you're not pushing it on them. You're saying, hey, you called me, you came to me. I want to help you do what you came to achieve. I'm helping you say, hey, Billy, it's okay. You know, this is why it's going to benefit you. Something came across your mind, you're making the right decision. Let me show you why you're making the right decision. And, you know, the first day you say, oh, man, this is a lot of money. I really like it. I like the presentation. I like everything. But I'm just not ready to move forward. Fair enough, Billy. Fair enough. But what I'm going to do for the next few days is I'm just going to follow up with you in a day or two and see how you're feeling, because I really believe this is a great product for you. And everybody has different follow-up, whether they video something, whether it's real estate. You say, hey, Billy, look, check this house out in Marietta or Hot Springs. This is the house for you. Here's where your daughter's going to play, you know, and here's where your family's going to flourish and grow. And, you know, there's a big yard that you're going to have your dog and your pet and your animal. And it just brings that ether and go, that's right. That's right.
You're
You know what?
You're painting them a picture.
You're painting them a picture, and that's what it is. And
I like that. You also bring up kind of a good topic. You kind of touched on it there a minute ago, but that's the question of the failed salesperson. So have you ever walked into a place ready to buy, sold,
yeah,
ready to buy, money in hand, money in the bank, whatever it might be, and then the salesperson anti-sold you?
I'll give you the
Total turn off.
I have a perfect example. So about a year ago, there's this new development in Fallbrook in North County, San Diego, and they have these new homes out, and they're like 4 or 5 bedrooms, and it's right in the budget that I want to be. And I'm going to take my house and use it as a rental. And so I go through their builder to get pre-approved and pre-qualified and say, okay, it's going to put this much down. I'm going to use my house as a rental. Here's what I could get. Run my wife's credit. So we submit all of our stuff and say, this is what we want to do. And they say, okay, good. You are qualified for this amount, which is more than enough.
You're ready to roll.
I'm ready to roll. So I tell my wife, I said, she's at work. I said, I'm going to go check out these homes. I'm going to look at them one more time, see where they're at, and I think I'm ready to pull the trigger.
Wow.
So I walk into the sales floor. You know, it's like a small little area, you know, showroom. And I tell the lady right away, I want to look at this floor plan. What homes do you have on this floor plan? It's like, you know, because if you've ever gone to the home sales, it's like, oh, it's 2204, and it's a amount square feet or whatever. So I'm like, I want to look at 2215. What do you have available? And she goes, well, you know what? Have you seen it? You got to get qualified for. You have to get this and that before I show you everything. I said, look, okay, I understand. I said, but I'm qualified. I went through everything. I want to look at it. I'm ready to buy. And she goes, well, you know, there just depends on what you want. I said, and I got there like first thing in the morning, like 8:30 in the morning, like right when they opened. I said, look.
She wasn't ready to work.
She wasn't ready to work. Yeah, she was like the lady with the hair all messed up and, you know, ketchup on her shirt. So I told her, I said, look, my house is in Escondido, because they ask all the questions. Do you have a house now? What are you going to do at the house? I said, look, I know what I'm going to do. I want to look at this house. I want to check it out one more time. And she goes, okay, here's a map. And she circles the homes where it's at. And she goes, you could go this home, or this home. Because they're still building it. And she's like, you could just walk in.
Wow.
And
set you on your way.
And she's like, so what you want to do is you want to go down the street, go around. Again, there's some construction going on, so be careful. And I said, you're not going to go with me? And she's like, no, I have to manage. I have to be here on the sales floor.
Ah.
I said, you can't lock up, you can't close up. I said, because I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to do this. She says, just come back to me and let me know which one you choose.
Wow.
And my mind was blown.
Right.
Because on this, if I did that in car sales, like, oh, just
here's the keys.
The car you want is over there.
Let me know what stock. Let me know what stock number you want. Come back to me and I'll write it up. And so I was like, you know what? So I'm like, you know what? And again, I'm the person that needs to be pushed. So I said, okay, you know what? That's fine. I called my wife. I said, are you kidding me? This lady did this. I said, but you know what? I want this house bad enough. I want the house. I want to buy it. Let's do it because we need a bigger home for the family. So I go over there and I walk to the home, and it's I need the vision. I want you to say,
See it,
Steven,
touch it. Yeah.
here's where you're going to be. Here's where you're going to have the family grow. Here's where your entertainment system's going to be. You have the 60-inch screen right here, and you have your entertainment. And I like entertaining. And at the new car lots or the new home lots, they're all dirt in the backyard.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can't paint the vision. I can, but there's too many objections where I'm like, I don't care for these counters. Where somebody else could have said, Steven, that's an easy fix. That's really simple. You could just add the tile. It's really a quick upgrade. Here's where, I know right now it looks bare, it looks basic, but this is where it's going to be. And here's where your kid's going to play. Here's where you're going to be able to ride the bicycles. There's the pool. You walk down the pool, it's right there. And she didn't give me that. But I needed that. And I tried justifying my mind, but I just need that little extra push because I want her to do what I came to do.
Right. And I think the education is a big part of it. The countertops being different than you prefer is probably okay, especially if they're still building the houses. So a good salesperson could have said, like you mentioned, no big deal. What kind of countertop would you like? I've got 15 to choose from.
Right. So long story short, I take a bunch of pictures, I sent to my wife, and I was just like, oh, man, this is such a bummer because I really wanted this house. And so I went to the other floor plan, and I was like, you know what? I wasn't seeing it. I didn't feel the ether that came in initially because I came in, I was like, I'm going to drive to Fallbrook. I'm going to buy this house today. I'm going to buy this house.
There's no better lead in the sales business than what you're describing.
I know.
So we call it lay down.
I'm a
Yeah.
total lay down. I was just going to say I'm a total lay down with anything. You just say, Steven, this looks good. I'm like, okay, done. And so
the lack of sales.
So I go home, and a week later she calls me. She goes, hey, Steven, so I got your application. You're pre-qualified. You're good to go. Do you and your wife want to come in and take a look? I said, I was that guy that you said, oh, here's a map. Man. Here's a map. Go ahead and check it out. Let me know which one. I said, why didn't you take me? I said, I was ready to buy. He's like, well, I couldn't lock the door, or I couldn't just let people walk through. I said, sure you could. And so I gave her a sales education, a little speech, and she goes, I sell a lot of these homes. I said, probably because it's a new development, and people just want to live there,
right?
Not because you're doing this. I kind of, I said, look, because people want that house, and they said they're willing to do it, but you didn't build value. I said, I was ready to go. You just need to give me just that little extra push for the objections I may have. It's like, oh, the garage is a little small. Yeah, it's a little bit small, but you're going to be able to put cabinets in like what you have. And she didn't give me that. And that's what I needed. And that's what I wanted. And again, I'm a total lay down when it comes to pretty much anything.
Well, and to your point, she may sell a lot of these houses by default because she's the only person standing there or whatever.
Which has built up some arrogance in her.
Unfortunately, but the real point is that she could obviously be selling more houses, at least one more. At least, but she anti-salesed him.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Jeez.
I was, and again, I'm such a lay down. I was at Costco yesterday, and I'm not wearing the watch today, but it had a little bit of a smaller face. But I've been really wanting a white band or a brown band with a white face. And the guy that works at Costco, he's like, how do you like it? I said, it's pretty much what I've been looking at, but the face is a little bit smaller. He goes, really? I think it looks good on you. I said, okay, done. I'll take it. That's all I need. That's all I need. It's like, hey, yeah, you just need that confirmation that, I've been wanting to do it. And I'll tell you this, a month ago, I was there at Costco, and I told my wife, I said, I want this watch. And she's like, why don't you get it? I said, I don't know. I don't need to spend the money on it. She's like, okay. But if she would have said, yeah, honey, do it. I'd been like, hell yeah, let's do it. But the guy at Costco, he probably just want to close the door. He's like, yeah, it looks good. Just get it. So I was like, all right, cool. So that's all I need is that little confirmation.
And
that's what I think sales is about. It's just a little bit of a push, a little bit of confirmation of helping them do what they came to do.
So you got that house. Or no?
No, I didn't buy the house.
You didn't buy the house.
I didn't buy the house.
You got anti-sold.
I got anti-sold, and because
it's possible.
I couldn't see the vision. I mean, even then, so now I go back, and I have a friend that lives in that neighborhood, and I go, I'm kind of glad I didn't. It's, I guess, a little procrastination definitely helped in that sense, but if there's a great salesperson, like Frederick Eklund, from $1 Million Listing New York, like, hi, kick. Then I've been like, yeah, I can see it. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I love this. This is amazing. By the way, if you don't know who Frederick Eklund is on $1 Million Listing, he's a excellent salesperson, huge in terms of real estate. And I read his book, and he's all about energy. He's all about that ether and making you feel happy and painting that vision. And it just really wants you to sell.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about that ether, grabbing them while it's there, and the next day or two, or
Sure.
Yeah.
Depending on on what it is we're talking about.
Yeah,
like
sure.
There's long sales processes for certain items and so on, and then there's short, where you really got to make the choice now to do what it might be. But I think we've talked.
I think so. There's a worldwide statistic out there. I think it's 2 or 3% of interactions that you have with potential customers are actually ready to make a decision. So, and I made this into a little game for the home improvement thing. I made this little spinning wheel, and basically I cut slices of the wheel, and before an appointment, I would hit it, and I created these little slices, and one of them was like ready to go, gonna sign today. The other one was old, lonely, and just wants someone to talk to. One was totally not qualified. One was they're not even the homeowner. They're just calling people, hoping that their landlord will do this upgrade for them.
Did you get that?
Oh yeah.
And I just would like
yeah.
to say as a disclaimer, we don't feel that all people that are older are lonely.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. This numbers game theory approach towards getting stuff done is really key because, again, it's all a numbers game, and you have to just keep your pipeline full. Never get hung up on one experience or one moment, that ether.
Right.
Statistics I'm not sure what as far as car sales or other industries, but as far as home improvement goes, in the stats that I've taken, if they don't close while I'm there, the chances of them actually moving forward drop like 90%.
Right.
And so that's why my philosophy is to get in, make a huge impact, get to the bottom line. What do we need to do to get this done? And if they don't, then the ball's in their court.
Sure.
And I will have people call me because they'll meet with other contractors and they'll say, okay, this guy was a little bit higher, but I didn't like his vibe, or this Home Depot is at this price. You guys are right there, but they subcontract their work, and I've heard a lot of bad reviews. So they'll pay more because of that connection and that impact.
That trust.
So Stephen R. Covey wrote the book The Speed of Trust, and it really talks in depth about what you focused on for a little bit. And I think that's a great point, is trust. On the sales side of things, trust and building trust with people is really the fastest way to get anything accomplished, and that extends to pretty much everything. If you're doing a merger or an acquisition, they have to trust you to integrate and to assimilate and become part of the same company. If they don't trust you, they're going to be a rogue a rogue satellite out there that doesn't want to do what the parent company wants to do. It's about building trust. But you also touched on the energy, and I think that's big. We get a little metaphysical from time to time, meditation and talking about spiritualism and energy work. We'll get into that probably in another podcast. But I think it's really interesting that you brought that up, because in the past, sales has always been kind of a mano kind of thing, me versus you.
Right.
We're talking about more of a team effort where we're helping people achieve what they want or get what they like, or in many cases get a feeling like you talked about.
Yeah.
When they own the car that they really wanted, that they really needed, when their house is upgraded and they can walk in and get that aha moment.
Yeah.
They're happy, So it's your responsibility as a good salesperson to not only guide them, but to bring them the proper kind of positive energy that's going to give them the reward that they want.
Certainly.
So that's pretty huge right there, and I think it's glossed over a little bit or a lot in society, but it's all about energy, man. I mean, if you are a salesperson with a bad demeanor, you're not likely to get many sales.
Right, and that could really hurt like an entire an entire brand, you know. So let's say, and so like where I'm at, there's an auto park, and there's probably an auto park where you were, and you know, back where I used to sell cell phones and you know other products, is people go from place to place to place to place, and if they go to, let's say, BMW, and they have this big idea in their mind that BMW is going to be the best, and oh, I'm going to love this, and they run into maybe a salesperson that's having a down day or a bad day, or just he had a crappy person beforehand that he feels, you know, still down, he didn't move forward, and so somebody approaches in and goes, he's like, hey, well, you know, how can I help you out? He's still boggling his mind, and then what happens is, you know, he gives them a bad presentation, bad everything, and he doesn't really build value in the car, and that person says, well, I'm never going to buy a BMW again. Versus, and then he goes to Mercedes, and the Mercedes guy is just like, this is a beautiful, amazing car. It has so much value, and here's what it could do, X, Y, Z, even though the BMW could do everything the same. But, you know, the guy presented it so much differently, where he says, I'll never buy a BMW because it doesn't have this, or, you know, there are jerks there at BMW.
And you know, he might end up actually becoming a friend of the Mercedes guy, right? The guy was just so nice and so cool that they're now going to buy from that dealership every single time.
Refer friends and family.
Yeah,
100%.
That's huge.
It turns into this whole good energy exchange.
And then you get in a conversation, you bring up, you know, the BMW. Love BMW, by the way. I think you guys are great. This is just a story. But they bring up BMW, and because they had a bad experience with one person that has nothing to do with how the cars are made, they now hate the brand.
Right.
That's rough, man. And being a business owner, that's scary to me, you know, to have an employee that can taint your brand like that.
Yeah.
Right?
And I would imagine they could probably do something like that in solar too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it's presented wrong, or, you know, they gauge everything differently. They gauge it wrong for the amount of kilowatts that you use versus what's consumed. And, you know, the panels, and they say, you know, I will never buy solar again. You know, they screwed me over. They did this, they did that. And then neighbors say, hey, you know, Billy, how do you like your solar? And Billy's like, oh man, I can't stand it. I should have never got solar. They're overcharging me. You know, they put me in a lease versus a finance, and you know, now my bill's $1,200 a month. You know, and they really, you know, and you know, the same thing with
now the neighbor's affected by that toxic energy,
right?
True.
And so then that person, you know, that was talking about getting solar, you know, the whole time he says, well, I talked to my neighbor, and then that guy goes to work, and they say, oh hey, did you end up buying solar? No, I didn't get solar because my neighbor got screwed out. His bills are $1,200 a month, and it just kind of just spreads. And that's one way they could really happen.
There's a third neighbor that had a wonderful experience. He had a great salesperson that really pumped him up about the ecological effects and how he's saving the earth and how he's saving money and all of these things. So this guy walks out feeling like an ecological superhero, while the other two people are suffering and they don't have solar on their house and they're still paying high electric bills because of, again, one not so good salesperson that really didn't have the client's best interest at heart and steered him the wrong way. So you get one. I guess that's the angel and the devil.
Yeah, that's angel and devil. And so, you know, and that's how sometimes consumers see sales and see many things, many products. Is, you know, they sometimes have the elevated, just wonderful experience. They love the energy, they love the vibe, and then that can be totally troubled just by not, like me buying the house. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to buy a house from that entire development, that whole neighborhood.
Yeah, so the whole brand
tainted.
loses
The whole thing's
because...
tainted. And so, and I've shown my friends, and I've told my friends, like, oh, because I talked about it, I had that ether going, and say, you know, Tim, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get this house. I'm pre-qualified. Billy, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to invite you over for, you know, barbecue, and they have a pool, and you know, and then, you know, I go there, and my balloon's deflated, and then, you know, so Billy and Tim go, hey Steven, so how's that house? And I'm like, I'll never go there. I don't want to buy in that neighborhood. It's a crappy neighborhood. They have narrow driveways. They have an alleyway. You know, the backyards are small. And, you know, don't buy that neighborhood. You know, I know you're considering buying a house. You don't want to live there. And that could kind of just really bring it down.
Well, yeah. Bad news travels fast.
Spillover.
Yeah. So that's why I think there's kind of like you're saying, there's the good and the bad. And it's your perception and how you see it, how it's perceived, and what kind of presentation you're given.
Well, luckily, society is kind of changing as a whole. We're seeing a lot more non-pushy salespeople, they have the no haggle pricing out. I don't know if that's good or bad, but if they're really giving us the best deal, then it's good. And then we're not fighting with a bad salesperson that's just trying to get the highest commission.
The deal's in your mind.
The deal's in your mind.
The
deal is in your mind.
The deal is in your mind. If you think it's a good deal because it fixes your your need,
yes,
then it's a good deal.
Well, and that is how one person can pay more for something while another person can pay less, and they both still feel like they got a good deal.
Correct.
So I think that if enough needs are met and you're getting enough reward, then you feel good about the process. So I'm seeing more of a shift in society where it's a little more hands off. It's a little more helpful than the guy with the bad sports coat, trying to, come on, buddy, give me your last dollar. It's not
certainly
like that as much anymore.
It's a lot more information available to people.
100%.
And by the time they even are speaking to a salesperson, they've done probably hours worth of research.
Sure.
So it's really about education. It's about,
Guidance.
Yeah, guidance, trust, making sure that where they spend their money is going to be a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, at our store, at Toyota Carlsbad, we're actually more oriented towards the positive experience. We're all about your overall time spent. We want to make sure you're in and out, you're efficient, you got all your questions answered. We're all about elevating your experience. Not so much the price of the car. We still want you to get a good value, good price, and everything, but we're actually judged more on our survey scores, and meeting that certain criteria. It's not so much a thing of a price for us, and I think a lot of dealerships are going that way. That's why Crown Toyota in Riverside, maybe that's what you're talking about, has one pay, one price,
non-negotiable
price,
hassle-free,
and because they're about, look, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to just assist you. Here's the price on all of our cars. There's no haggle, no hassle. Let me just show you. Let me elevate your experience.
Right.
And our same thing with our store. Our store is in no haggle, no hassle, but we're all about just trying to elevate the experience because you win awards, and it makes you get 5 stars on Yelp reviews, and it brings more referrals in. And again, instead of that deflated balloon saying I'm never going to go to Toyota Carlsbad, we want those balloons to keep going and say, you need to go to Toyota Carlsbad. Right. It's worth it for you to drive from Riverside or Corona or San Bernardino, come down, because they're going to take care of you.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point. I want to thank you for coming out and cutting the slack with us a little bit.
I appreciate it.
I also want to congratulate you on about 12 plugs for Toyota Carlsbad. Good job on that. So Toyota Carlsbad.
Gotta represent. Love Toyota Carlsbad.
No, so you're a great guy. It's great talking with you, and
Thank you.
I think you've kind of shown the good side to car sales, if not a number of different sales industries. So. In essence, I think there are a lot of great salespeople out there. Great being that they're guides, they're educated, they can help you fill the want and the need that you have, and hopefully progress in life rather than be set back by some of the old style salesmen that were pushy and sleazy.
Right.
So I think we're gonna unanimously decide that sales is, if used properly, is a good thing. And can really make sure that your life is enhanced.
Yeah, I believe so.
What would you tell someone, either of you, both of you, what would you tell someone who doesn't, they say, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the sales type.
As the consumer, I'm not the sales type. I don't want to be pushed.
No, we can all agree that sales is necessary. It's good. It's great to support families and make the economy thrive, and give that connection and trust so that people can see their vision through. If she would have approached you correctly and gave you that tour, you would be in that house and you'd be loving it.
Right.
In hindsight, F that place, but it's in the moment, it's man, I was there, I was excited, and it was popped,
What I would say to that is and you may be talking about the people that aren't in the sales industry.
Exactly.
Right? The people, maybe you're a teacher, or maybe you're an accountant, or have another job outside of sales. Yeah. What I would say to that is that everybody's always selling something. And even if you're telling me that sales is not good, then you're trying to sell me that.
You're selling me on the idea that sales isn't good.
But people sell every day.
Right.
even if it's just two housewives talking or two guys that are buddies, if you grab a certain kind of beer and you love it, you're going to say, dude, you've got to try this, man.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any profit out of selling this at all. But if you go to a restaurant, you're going to tell your friends, oh my gosh, you've got to go to blankety blank restaurant. They are so awesome. And we're always selling something, whether we're making money or not. In our case, we've just chosen a profession that allows you to benefit from that. So everybody's always selling something, even if they're trying to sell you not selling.
Yeah. Yeah, they're selling us on we don't need to help them.
Yeah.
But imagine the salesman-less world. Like if you walk into a place and it's just a robot, or you walk into a car dealership in this case, where there's 12 cars, they're all in a pod.
Carvana.
And I'm just going to pick one.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's a detriment. I don't know anything about the car. I like how it looks, but I'm not educated on the types of car, how they're built, what their features are. So in that case, I feel like if there weren't salespeople around to help guide people, then we'd all make a lot of bad choices.
I've never worked in a restaurant, but I always think about this every time I go and sit down and eat, because whether it's a car lot or, retail space or home improvement, coaching, until they actually exchange money, you're trying to gauge whether or not they're serious or not. Mm-hmm. If you're a waitress or a restaurant manager and someone walks in the door, you are automatically guiding them to where they're going to pay you. Okay, come sit over here. Okay, what would you like to drink?
Right.
It's all assumed.
Well, and I'll do the thing in many restaurants where it's I'm like, hey, what's good? I can read the menu, but then they say, hey, you've got to try the Hatch chili burger. It's
Trust.
Awesome.
Trust.
And I'm like, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Because of her energy toward it. So, yeah, I think everybody's always kind of selling something, whether you're selling your opinion about a product. And again, the funny part to me is when people are selling stuff, they're not getting paid for it. It's like, why? Don't try to pitch me your football team, because you're not even getting paid on. You're not. The Patriots aren't paying you. Okay.
What do you think the relation is between sports and sales is, or if any? Would you say? Because you played football, you're a competitive kind of guy.
Right.
What's the relation there?
Sales is all about, I guess. You're a go-getter. You're after it. You have to, you want to be better than the person next to you, and kind of like Grant Cardone. He has his 10x, and so he's saying, look, you need to be 10x times better than the other person, next to you. And so, what are you doing to get ahead? And same thing when it comes to sports. I think that's why there's a lot of athletes that move to sales and try and excel pretty well, because they're trying to be better, trying to move forward. Growing up and playing sports, football and soccer and tennis and baseball, you're always pushed to excel and to do better and to get faster and to lift heavier and to get stronger. And so you kind of just transition that to sales. And when you're in sales, you say, well, I can't lift a house, I can't lift a car, I can't do anything, so I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to do more sales than the person next to me. And I'm going to 10x this, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to be hungry and continue, just excelling to the top. You want to. The whole thing of being in sports is you want to be a captain. You want to wear that, wrist that armband, and you want to lead the team, and you want to be a model to everybody, not just your team but your community. Mm-hmm. And so same thing when it comes to sales, the sales industry. It's not so much saying, oh, I'm the best, but it's like, look, I want to lead by example, and I want to take my team, and if I have a team of 10, I want them to 10x, and I want them to succeed and grow, and it's accomplishment. Same thing when you, I guess, as an athlete, it's an accomplishment when you go to the Olympics, or you're supporting yourself, you're supporting your team, and it's an accomplishment that, hey, I got there through hard work and diligence. And
well, and if you want to talk about some great salespeople, you can look at any sports professional team. They're all amazing salespeople. The team in general, they get people to live their life for the team, and they're receiving no money for it. Like I used to be a big professional sports fan. I used to get into football, baseball, loved basketball as well. I still enjoy the sports, but I can't subscribe to the teams because I can't get around the idea that I'm going to go and buy your jerseys and buy your hats and pay for your tickets and go and get the minivan painted in the colors that your team are and get the license plate and get a couple helmets. I can't buy into that. But I think that it's the greatest sales job ever because they've gotten people to actually live the life as the tribe to the point where people, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, but people say, "Oh yeah, we had a tough year." You didn't have a tough year. The Chiefs had a tough year, okay?
Dude.
The players on the Chiefs had a tough year. The management of the Chiefs had a tough year. You're a fan, and I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh, but anyway, my point is that the sales that they've done in professional sports is amazing to the point where they've gotten people
They're instilling it inside of you. Yeah,
and unfortunately, some people have gotten violent about it. Like if you're this kind of fan and I'm the fan of another team, we don't get along, and we might fight. If you walk through Boston with a Yankees jersey on, you're likely going to get in a fist fight, and vice versa. If you're brave enough to go through the Bronx,
well, it's a lifestyle to some.
Yeah, if I walk through any of those places with an Angels jersey on, they're just going to steal everything from me.
They'll probably laugh at you. They'll both kick your ass. Both the Yankees and the Red Sox.
They don't even, anyhow. But yeah, so the sports industry has done the greatest sales job ever by really getting the people to indoctrinate to where it is their life blood to cheer this team on, and they will donate many funds, as much as they can, to get memorabilia and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe the professional sports teams are the greatest salesmen ever.
It's a misuse of masculinity. That's all it is.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's all it is.
That's a whole other podcast. Well, guys, for these two chuckleheads and me, we'll do another one. All right. Well, thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for coming out and talking about sales. It's a slippery slope. It's something that can be good or bad, but I think we've shown a good side of it. So for everybody here at Cut the Slack, I want to thank you for coming out and joining us on this next episode.
Good stuff.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Take it
guys.
easy.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on Cut the Slack. For more information on health and nutrition, please visit us at inlandempirehealth.com. For more information on promoting your business, visit us at premierlocalmedia.com.